How's it going, everybody? And look what Dorito dropped me off. Looks like we have a Tao Motor DBX 1. And wow. Let's see what we got in it. Alrighty, would you look at that bad boy? Man, that green really looks good. That green and that black. Very nice. Alright, let's get started on an assembly video on this thing. Pretty basic bike. Really good bike. And one of the last videos, if you've seen, they brought me over one of these, different color scheme, and to do assembly video. I wrote it. I liked it so much, I bought it. It's over there in the corner. This 140 packs a punch, man. It's a really good bike. Good intermediate level bike for the price. This thing rips. And I'll tell you some other things later on in the video that I like about this bike. So let's get started. Let's grab a 14mm socket, get this crate off. What I like to do is I like to put the bars on first so you have some kind of a handle. It's sturdy here in the crate, but get these all out, get this off. All the ties on the pegs, everything's tied down really good from shipping. Let's get these off. So let's start out with the handlebars. So you'll be see on the bars, it's going to be a 5/16 Allen. I really like that green and black, man. The green looks really good. Good looking bike. Okay, there might be a few ties you have to cut. Get the cables out of the way. Tangle it up here. On the outside of that, on the outside. Boom, like that. Get these up in here. And the good thing about these triple trees, they're adjustable. For a big rider, short rider, it's got these little ridges on here. You can adjust it front and back, which is a really cool thing. A lot of bikes don't have that. Right now I'm just going to go over in. Gonna set it up like medium size for a medium sized guy like me. But for a real short rider, you can bring this all the way back to here, which will set this back about 1 inch, or you can bring it up about 1 inch forward for a taller kid, taller young man. Okay. Wrap the pad on. Okay. A little bit more. Okay. Okay, next thing I like to do, I like to get on the back shock. I like to put the kickstand down. I just throw my shoulder up on the back fender and pick up the back, and I'll put the back shock through. and that'll be a 14mm wrench also. It's easier with two people, but today I'm here doing this by myself. I probably will need to go find me a little help right now to do the front wheel. I like to do the back and the front, that way you can take out the crate and get it up on stands and assemble the rest. Now the front wheel is just that the axle is already in the front. When you pull the axle, it'll come out of the crate. And then you have these two spacers. So there's a short spacer, and then there's a little bit bigger spacer. I'm going to see if I can find somebody to help me do this front wheel, so I'll be right back. The big spacer, the longer spacer goes on the one on the side of the disc brake. The shorter one goes on the right hand side of the bike, or without the disc brake. And also, don't hit, when you put the handlebars on, do not hit this front brake. There's a stopper in the caliper, and that's so your discs don't squeeze. If you do, if you hit that front brake, it's going to be hard for you to get the disc in when you put the front wheel on. And you have to take a flathead screwdriver and pry the piston open, and then the rotor will slide right in the caliper when you put the front wheel on and put the axle in. And make sure that front axle is really, really tight. Okay, so now let's get to the rear brake. You need a 10mm socket, and the brake just slides in and slides the spring. The spring goes on the bottom of the frame and on the top of the brake lever. So when you hit the brake, it pops back, and then you just push it in the hole. Make sure the spring's working before you put the bolt on. Then it's just a 10mm bolt. I would put Loctite on this. If you got some red Loctite, it would be really good. If you don't, just make sure that it's torqued down to spec. You know, good. Make sure it's really tight. Okay, so now let's start out with the front fender. Also, what you need, when you get your instructions, there's a little baggie, and this will come with the zip ties for the front cables. So when your plate goes on, it goes on smooth, and your cables ain't dangling. And also the 3 front screws for the fender in this bag, your breather for your gas tank, like that. Wow, that looks really nice. Anodized green shifter. This bike is a really good looking bike, man. Really good looking bike. And by me owning one, I own the orange one. This motor gets it, man. The compression on these tail 140s is phenomenal. It's a torquey bike. Like I said, I got big mainstream line bikes. I love my tail, man. For the price, and I go to the hills, every weekend, and I rip that little tail. It's in the corner. I got the exact same one as this one, but it's the orange one. And another thing cool, what I really like about this bike, it comes stock with the 1 1/8 clamps, the big bars. The ones that it comes with are kind of stock. What I really like is you can put the pro tapers, the wider ones, and the low sets, for the track. And this bike is phenomenal on the track. I mean, it does good on the pit bike track, but maybe not this color, the red and white, but just imagine green and white with these bars on this bike. And it makes the bike look totally different with these low-cut bars. I mean, that's why I really like this bike. Most bikes, you gotta buy bigger clamps and stuff. This one already comes with 1 1/8. Your Pro Taper fat bars fit right on there, and they look great. And it handles great. It gives you a lot more turning. If you're a track rider, if you're just a weekend rider, mob around a campsite, these are great. If you're gonna go to the track, I would suggest you get a pair of Pro Tapers. Whatever set you like, and for your style riding. But I mean, I love them on my bike. But these bars are great too. If you don't like the Pro Tapers, that's just my opinion. I really like them on the bike. Alright, let's get to this front fender. Alright, here we go. Now with this front fender, what you'll need is grab your socket, get yourself a 5/16. And like I said, the 3 bolts are inside the pack with the operator's manual. And put the fender on. And there's 1 bolt right in the front to start out with. We'll start you off. Get that thing on. Get it started, and then start out with the other 3 bolts in the back. Torque them bad boys up. Okay? And you want to put the front fender on before you put your number plate, because the number plate has to fit inside here. You find that number plate, there she is. Alright, you got these two mounting bolts right here, and then you have one 5/16 right here, and it'll already be in the frame, and there's a spacer. Don't lose the spacer. Okay? Then what you do, you put your number plate in, feed your cables through, spacer, and that spacer is to give you room for these cables. If you don't have that spacer in there, your throttle cable, no, your brake cable is going to be in there. Okay? So you need that spacer in there. And always, when you get done, turn your bike both ways. Make sure this thing gets full turns without any, see how this, and that's what these zip ties in the package are for, to zip tie this up. Makes it real safe. Man, and that's it. That's everything. It's pretty basic, pretty simple. Any kid and their dad can do this in the garage, just like I do with my sons. You know, I got a little bit of addiction on motorcycles. I love these things. I really love this Tail 140. Man, you will love this bike. And there you have it. There's the assembly video. That's a really good looking bike, man. And like I said it like 3 or 4 times, that motor rips, man. High compression, 140cc motor, it gets it. And that's stock. You know what I mean? This thing is a ripper. A couple things I want to tell you about the bike. I want you to go through every nut and bolt on this thing. Plastics, all this stuff. In shipping across, and these things come from overseas, and rattling across the boat and in containers and on diesels, how everything travels. Everything can loosen up, but it's just better to go through the whole bike, every nut and bolt on this thing. And it doesn't take long, you know what I mean? Just go through all the Allen wrenches, all the stuff I showed you in the video. Another thing is a shipping oil in this motor. So I would break it in with this, ride it around. Don't be hard on the motor. Just ride it around, cruise it around, shift through all the gears. Give it a go out and have fun with it. Don't rip it. Just let it break in, and then drain the oil and put a good 1030, good 40 weight in it. Or whatever the manufacturer says. You know what I mean? I run 1040 in mine, but go by whatever the manufacturer says for this bike. But this is just a shipping oil. It's not that good, it's just a braking oil. So do it the first trip, put gas in it, go have fun with your kids with it, and but just don't overdo it the first time. Let the motor break in, ring seat in, and then drain it, put your good oil, and this thing will be ready to rip for a long time. I've had my bike for a while now, and I've never had one problem with it. But I torqued down every bolt. I made sure everything was good. If you do the same and run a good oil and warm it up, don't just start it and take off. Let it warm up for 2 minutes before you ride it. This bike will last you. It's a really good bike. Alright, and that's it today for our assembly video. Thanks for tuning in to Lucha Mob Garage. And you know what? Since Dorito ain't here to pick this thing up yet, I think I'm going to go take it for a rip. Peace.